Today I'm going to be talking about AI-assisted clinical trial search and analysis using BioMCP. BioMCP is a model context protocol server that empowers AI agents and assistants with tools. In this case, BioMCP talks to clinicaltrials.gov API to search and retrieve clinical trials, the myVariantInfo API for genomic variant information, and the PubData API for PubMed articles and abstracts. I'm going to be finding active clinical trials for the drug pembrolizumab for non-small cell lung carcinoma patients near Cleveland, Ohio. This natural language query gets understood by the large language model and translated into a complete query, then sent to the clinicaltrials.gov REST API. You'll see in this example how the large language model understands the intent of the user and breaks down their query into the proper named entities. To use BioMCP, we recommend using Claude Desktop. Easy to download and configure for the Model Context Protocol. There's more information on the Model Context Protocol website about how to configure each individual MCP. For BioMCP, I've pre-configured my settings to properly run the BioMCP service within Claude. And you can see here that there's already 9 tools that are available. And we're going to start by integrating directly with BioMCP's custom instructions. These instructions teach Claude how to use the BioMCP tools. You don't need to read these instructions, but they make the searching more powerful and relevant for the user. In this case, we're using the trial searcher, trial locations, and trial protocols for this demonstration. In this case, we're going to try to find those active trials, meaning trials that are actively recruiting for non-small cell lung carcinoma patients that are trials for the pembrolizumab therapy. We're going to restrict our search to those trials that are active within 50 miles of Cleveland, Ohio. You'll see that Claude understands the query and understands that we want to call a tool. And in this case, it shows you exactly what is going to be called. You can see here that it's made the call and returned back a set of promising trials within the geographic distance for my disease indication and are for the drug that I've specified. You can see that there's some high-level information. Once again, this is the search results. So it's like a first page of a Google search. You actually still have to click through to understand more details about the trial. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to find the locations of those trials, meaning we know these trials should be within 50 miles of Cleveland, but we want to know specifically where they are and how far they are from downtown Cleveland itself. So my second query is, once again, in natural language. You'll be able to do this using your voice in the future, so that'll make it easier to use. Won't have to be tied to a desktop. But you can see here that it understood my question, and for each trial, it's separately going to ask for the list of trial locations and how close they are to downtown Cleveland. In this case, the first 2 trials, one's at UH and one's at the Cleveland Clinic, and they're both within 0 miles of downtown Cleveland. The next step to demonstrate the capabilities of BioMCP with regards to clinical trials is to ask what the biomarker eligibility criteria are. We're going to prompt the large language model to use the trial protocol tool, asking for details about each trial, specifically what their eligibility criteria are. The large language model is going to read the full text and understand the criteria of each and then provide a summary. In this case, we can understand what the specific biomarkers are required or excluded from the trial, and you can follow up with additional questions based on the needs of given research or other work that you are doing. For more information about BioMCP, please check out our GitHub repository